In this lesson, I'm going to show you some helpful tips to make a picture like this that came from a picture like this. I wanted to start with an exaggeration, using a picture like this that is nowhere near being shot in wintertime nor having snow, so that you can benefit from the process. It is always a safe bet to start the process by taking your original layer and making a copy, then hide the original layer. I'm going to rename that layer to picture so I have a reference. Now, to change the coloring a bit, to give it a less warm look, you want to introduce blue. So I'm going to go ahead and open an HSL adjustment and I'm going to start changing this to give it like a blue tint, drop the opacity a bit, but this is good enough for you to get an idea. I think it will be obvious to anyone that choosing the proper brush to create snow is going to be necessary. But it's going to be trial and error. These are the standard brush types that come with Affinity Photo. So I'm going to have to hunt through here and try to find a brush that sort of emulates snow. The one that seems obvious to me in terms of the family of brushes would be probably sprays and splatters. And I chose a brush that somewhat emulates what snow looks like. If I go back to the layer, and you notice that brush is selected, and I have red selected as well. I'll show you why. Now, instead of clicking and dragging, which adds an awful lot of spots to the screen, I'm just going to click a few times, here. What we could do now to make the snow, well, look like snow, is we're going to add an HSL adjustment. And if you notice, the very bottom adjustment is the luminous shift. So if I turn it all the way down, it makes it dark. If I turn it all the way up, it makes it bright. Of course, we have to slide this HSL adjustment and offer it to the pixel layer. So now it's only affecting that one. So now when we bring this up, if you notice what happens to those dots, instead of being an orange red, now they're looking a lot more white. They look like snow. We can do a few other things to make them look even more realistic. We can add some type of blur that emulates the falling snow. And one of those things is motion blur. If you notice in the motion blur tool, there is a rotation angle. If we change the angle and increase the radius, you will see the blur happen. I'm going to offer that layer to the pixel layer again. And you can see it has an appearance of movement. Now, the background, of course, is perfectly clear, but it does give the impression that the snow is moving. So let's leave that for now. I'm going to add another layer because in real life, there will be snow falling in the foreground, snow falling in the midground, and snow falling in the background. So to make this easy, I'm going to click this layer. First, I'm going to give it a name, just Snow 1 for now. I'm going to Control C and Control V to add a new one. I'm going to change this to Snow 2. What I can do here, because that's a layer, I'm going to hit V on my keyboard as a means of changing the size of that layer. And if I move it around like this and increase its size, you can see that it's adding another whole dimension of snow to the image. Perhaps adding another layer to show a different brush type, much larger, and putting it in the foreground will give a sense of depth. So in this case, I chose a brush that is called Ink Splatter Tilting, and I'll add another layer. And again, I can just click a few times just so that's in the foreground here. Choose HSL adjustment again, offer that to the new pixel layer, and bring this up. I also have to add some kind of blur to give it a sense of movement. So I'm going to increase the radius of that and offer it to the layer. By the way, you can see if I move it around, it's obviously the snow is is changing direction. So you can get a sense that the snow is moving. Maybe it's a little bit too fast there, right? Maybe like that, it has a blur to it. And that's basically what it takes to add snow to an image, and it's an easy way to do it.